What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to do a spoiler-free review of a movie called Spoonful of Sugar. And I think it's out on Shudder right now. I mean, I watched it on Shudder. Let's check it out. So yeah, I actually got to watch Spoonful of Sugar. It is a movie that is coming to Shudder. It is a Shudder original. Technically, it's out right now. I got conflicted with it because I had seen someone say that they watched the movie, that they saw it on Shudder, the actual app. And so when I went to Shudder, it wasn't on the app in the new section because they have the newly added, which I always check all the time religiously to see whatever's new and added. Well, I did a search for Spoonful of Sugar, and voila, there it was. Right there, I was able to watch the whole thing. So it says it's coming out March 3rd, but I just wanted to be honest with you because, yeah, I watched it on there. There's like 6 or 7 different reviews, like starred reviews and everything about the movie. So what is Spoonful of Sugar all about? Well, it's about this girl who is in college and she is studying to be some sort of medical physician or therapist, and she wants to help kids who have allergy problems. In fact, she's taken off school to do a thesis on a paper for the semester. She has some pretty mind-altering ways to figure that out, of course, which involves LSD. Now, Millicent gets hired to watch a small child named Johnny, who is a mute boy allergic to everything under the sun, and you're starting to wonder if it's really his allergies, or is it all mental, or is it his mother? And soon she finds out that there's a darker story with the family that she was unaware of. It is sort of a slow burn, but there is a lot of things going on, so it didn't really feel slow. It just has that air about it. You know, it takes the time to smell the roses, to get you into the atmosphere, and to really soak in the performances of these actors. Now, this is a movie by Mercedes Bryce Morgan, who has done another movie called Fixation that came out in 2022 as well. This is a 2022 release that got picked up by Shudder for this year. She's also done a lot of music videos for Marshmello, the EDM guy with the big marshmallow head. And she had help from Leah St. Marie, who I believe this is her first feature film, but she's worked on a lot of different shorts and other things along the way. We get a couple of stars that I don't really recognize, but I feel like I recognize and I've seen in other stuff. The main girl who's played by Millicent is Morgan Saylor, who does a very good job of being super awkward and sort of transitioning into this family's life, and how she sort of becomes a little bit more open and things start to change within the family dynamics where she's not as awkward anymore, but she is super awkward. In fact, everybody in this movie is a little bit awkward in some way, some shape or form. In fact, I don't think there's any one good person in here. Like, everybody seems like there's an agenda or something going on. This is just a movie chock full of people that you just shouldn't trust. And you'll pick that up really quick. Now, the thing about this movie is it kind of reminds me of the movie Secretary with Maggie Gyllenhaal, Jake Gyllenhaal's sister. And it also has kind of an air about it that had like Saint Maud, if you saw that movie from a year or two ago, where that awkwardness and that sort of, you know, really eccentric sort of acting is in play here. But when you throw LSD into the mix, holy shit, does that amp things up, especially when you're dosing a child. By the way, that's in the trailer. I'm not spoiling anything, but you can see it very clearly in the trailers. So I feel like it's not off bounds. But man, what a set of fucked up things that are going on in this movie. I swear to God, this movie really put me through the ringer as far as like, how am I supposed to feel about any of this? And I think that's what it's really trying to do, is blur that line of like what is okay so that it can get you with the sort of twists in this movie. Because because they're kind of putting one thing in your face and then something changes in the middle of it while all the family dynamics are getting fucked up. And you can tell that like this girl has really kind of sank her teeth into this family, but she's really kind of taken a bite out of a really bad apple, the family apple, so to speak. This kid has a lot of problems and there's more than just one to kind of deal with. So you're really just not sure how to feel about anyone in this film. It's really difficult, but man, boy, does it take you for a ride. There's also a lot, and I mean a lot of sex scenes in this movie, not necessarily like super graphic or anything like that, but they do get pretty hot and heavy in a few situations in here. So if that kind of bothers you, nothing too bad, but there is, you know, it's a little bit more advanced as far as sexual behaviors go. But yeah, it's got some crazy stuff in it, and man, there's some things in it that I wasn't expecting to see from a kid or from a parent or from any of the dynamics going on in this film. So I think that ultimately, even though it's not like a movie that I'm going to be like, oh, I gotta fucking watch this again, it really threw me for the loop, and I really have just been having a hard time kind of putting my finger on what I think of this movie, because it really threw my emotions everywhere, and there's just so much going on. Each character has its own flaws and good things about them that you're getting pulled in every direction about. So honestly, I think it's a pretty decent movie. I can't say 100% what my final tally is for the score, but it's well shot, it's well acted, the score is pretty decent. The acting, I will say, there's some spottiness in it a little bit. I don't want to say who that is just yet or be rude about it, but yeah, it's not the best acting I've ever seen, but there are some really genuinely good, awkward, and weird performances in this movie in situations that you probably have never seen a family dynamic go. So just know that this movie goes places that you're like, holy shit. By the end of the movie, you're going to be like, holy fuck, I can't believe that just happened. You might kind of grasp onto what is happening a little bit early on, but not that much, because I was really thrown off the scent a lot by the sort of red herring that they put in the film. And yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Now, just to be clear, this is not a supernatural movie. This is not, you know, your typical horror movie. It's going to have elements of horror in it, obviously, because there is some dark shit in it, but it is not going to be like some sort of, I don't know, very openly horror movie. It might be considered thriller to some. It might be considered like, I don't know, horror drama. I personally think it belongs in the genre. So, but yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent film. You can watch it on Shudder right now if you're part of the subscription. Just do a search. You can go to the top, go to the right, do a search for Spoonful of Sugar, and you should be able to check it out there, at least for now. And my apologies if somehow I snuck around the algorithm or somebody made a mistake on their end. Hey, I felt like it was fair game. It was on their service that I pay for, and I watched it genuinely, and I enjoyed it. I'd give it a 7.5, maybe an 8. It could go up higher. It could go down lower. I don't know. I gotta watch it again by the end of the year just to see what's going on with this one. So I'll be marking that one down. But I would love to hear what you think if you've seen the movie or if you're interested in the movie. Personally, I'm always a fan of movies that delve into LSD because it's an interesting kind of thing that, you know, scientifically, medically is being looked at right now again, like they did in the past, and somehow along the lines, people just misdiagnosed it, gave it to people that shouldn't have, didn't do it the right way, things like that. But that stuff's been in the news anyway, so recently, so I find it kind of interesting that this is kind of bubbling up again. Say what you will, it definitely makes an interesting plot. What are some of your favorite LSD movies that are in horror? I know there was that one movie that was called Gothic from 1986 with Julian Sands that was kind of wild. But I don't know. Is there other horror movies with LSD that you like? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of Spoonful of Sugar. But other than that, thank you guys so much for coming by. And as always, long live the boys.
Beyond